on the homework. So I'm going to run through it pretty quickly because it looks like you guys knew what you were doing and knew what you did well. So I'm going to go through it. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. And if I need to slow down or anything, I can do that as well. Okay, so here we have solving for the numerical value. You guys had a couple of these. So basically just plug in the x value in for your x. 7 times 3 minus 14. You get 21 minus 14, which is 7. Okay. Here you were given that y equals 2. So you multiply 12 times 2. Then you add the 1. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 plus 1 is 25. If you guys want to go along, I did check your guys' homeworks. I did not grade it as I promised I wouldn't. But you guys should look at your homework and go through and make sure you did get the correct answers. I might have missed a couple. So just like a heads up. Okay. Can everyone see this okay, by the way? Let me know if you can. Okay, sounds good. Okay, c equals 9, plug it in, multiply by 2, 2 times 9, and 2 times 9 minus 7, so you have 18 minus 7, which is 11. Okay, then we have a equals 1, 12 minus 4a, where a equals 1, 12 minus 4 times 1, 4 times 1 is 4. Make sure you're always solving the parentheses first. 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay, now we have double variable expressions. So you're given 2x plus 3y, where x equals 2 and y equals 4. So you're going to plug in 2 right here, y equals 4 into right here. Write it out, 2 times 2, 3 times 4. So you have 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 4 is 12. Add them together and you get 16. Okay, 8w plus x, where w equals 3 and x equals 7. Put in your 3 right here, put in your 7 right here. 8 times 3 plus 7. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 7 is 31. Okay, 6k plus 5j, where k equals 1 and j equals 1. 6 times 1 plus 5 times 1, 6 plus 5, and you get 11. 14p minus 7m, p equals 2, m equals 4, so you have 14 times 2 and 7 times 4, and then you get 28 minus 28, which is 0. And now you're going to be solving for the variables, so making sure you're doing the same operation to both sides. 5w minus 9 equals 26. You're going to add 9 to both sides. And you get 5w equals 35. Divide both sides by 5, and you get w equals 7. 4a minus 8 equals 16. Add 8 to both sides. You get 4a equals 24. Divide both sides by 4, and you get a equals 6. 4b minus 12 equals 28. Add 12 to both sides. 4b equals 40, and you have b equals 10. 3y plus 15 equals 48. Subtract 15 from both sides. 3y equals 33. Then you divide both sides by 3, and you get y equals 11. Okay, now you're on the equivalent expressions part. So what you're going to do for this part is basically for part A, multiply it out. So I wrote it out for you guys here. What I like to do is just multiply part by part so that it's easier and less confusing, and you also make less mistakes. So when you multiply that out, you should get 150r. Here in the second one, using distributive property, multiplying your 11 by r and your 11 by 3, so you get 11r plus 33. Distributive property once again, multiplying your 3c by 3 and by 2. So you're getting 3c times 3, which is 9c, 3c times 2, which is 6c, and since they're common terms, they both have the variable c, you can add them together, and you get 15c. So I is your correct answer there. Combining like terms, 3x plus 2y plus 2x plus 3y. what you can do is see that you have an x here and an x here, put them together like that. A y here and a y here, put them together like that. 3x plus 2x is 5x, 2y plus 3y is 5y, so you get 5x plus 5y, which is a correct answer. However, I kind of made it a bit more complicated and made you redistribute it out. Take the 5 out and you get x plus y inside your parentheses. Okay. Now you're going to be combining like terms and just simplifying. So like I said in the previous problem, what I like to do is put all the x's together in one parentheses and then like put like terms in parentheses. So here we have 3x, 6x, and negative 7x. So I put that here and then 4 and put that here. And you add 3x plus 6x, you get 6x, you get 9x, and then minus 7x plus 4. Don't forget about your plus 4. Then you subtract these and you get 2x plus 4, and that is your simplest form. Okay, right here, 11d plus 4 minus 3d plus 5 minus 5d plus 2. Put like terms in parentheses, so I put the d's in this parentheses and put the regular numbers here. 11 minus 3 minus 5, you get 3d. 4 plus 5 plus 2 is 11. And so your simplest form is 3d plus 11. Almost done. Okay. Here you're going to have to combine and do derivative properties. So first you're going to multiply out your parentheses. 9 times a, 9 times 3, 9 times a, 9 times 3, and minus 6a right here. So you have 9a plus 27 minus 6a. You see this a, and you can combine them. 9a minus 6a is 3a, and this 27 right here. Okay, last one. 6w plus 8 minus 4w minus 6. So you have your w's in here and your numbers in here. 6w minus 4w is 2w, 8 minus 6 is 2, 2w plus 2. You can also have taken out the 2 and distributed it and had w plus 1 inside the parentheses. These are both correct answers. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, any questions on anything that I just went through or any of the other things I've said so far?
Can you go to the last question again?
Yeah. This one?
Yeah, that one.
Do you need me to re-explain it or did you just want to see it?
I just want to see it.
Okay, sounds good. I'll leave it up there for a second. Okay, while you're going over that, I will try to switch over to our new content. Okay, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay, perfect. So this week we're going to be talking about equations and inequalities. So first we're going to focus on equations and we're going to talk about what to do when we have the variable on both sides. The first thing that's important to remember, we've been wanting to do it. Oh, did you want to see? Okay, I'll go back 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I will post the answers in the Google Classroom. I will do that after today's class.
I think my screen glitched. I think my screen glitched. I can only see problem D, like from the homework.
Yeah, because they wanted to see problem D. Did you want to see more of it? I can.
No, I'm good now.
Okay, let me know. Okay,
So what are we trying to do now?
I was just waiting for one person who needed to check their answers on this, but I think we're good now. So we're going to move on to this week's content. Okay, so if we have a variable on both sides, you need to make sure that you, as always in any equation or expression, or equation, sorry, you need to make sure that you do the same thing to both sides to make it stay an equation. Okay, so if let's say we have this equation 2x plus 3 equals 5x minus 2, the first thing that we're going to do is try to get only the variable on one side of the equation. So we don't want an x on the left side and the right side. So what we can do is subtract 2x, in this case, subtract 2x from both sides of our equation, and we end up with 3 equals 3x minus 2. Okay, and then this looks like a problem we've done before, right? So we have 3 equals 3x minus 2, and we want to get the variable by itself on the right-hand side. So what we're going to do is add 2 to both sides of the equation, and we have 5 equals 3x. And then the last step is to divide by 3 because we want to get it from 3x to 1x. So we would divide both sides by 3. And then when you do that, you get x equals 5 over 3. Now it is acceptable to leave this in improper form when we're doing it in this scenario. However, if you did want to change it to the mixed fraction, it would be 1 2/3. Okay, any questions on that one?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Kiana.
Do you mind if I zoom out so I can see? Because I know a few ways to. Okay, then in that case, can I maybe show the class another way to move the variables around and simplify the equation? Because I believe that this does not include moving around the variables. So if you don't mind, I will use the little draw tool in the corner, if you don't mind, and I will try to explain this as best as possible, I hope.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it me or I don't hear?
I think that someone is trying to explain another way to solve the problem, but I don't know if they're talking because I cannot hear.
Can you see what I have just written?
Yeah, you rewrote the problem.
Sorry, it's just that it's just hard to write on an iPad. Sorry, it's a bit messy.
That's all right.
I can see it fine though, so.
Okay, so the thing I've just circled happens to be the variable. And what you want to do is you want to move the variable to the other side. So you want to move it over here. But however, unfortunately, there happens to be a -2 over here, although the teacher may have already explained this. I think I may have just repeated the method you did.
Yeah, I think what might be
Maybe.
confusing is that I also was, when I learned this, was taught that you just move the variable to the other side, but the actual idea behind that is that you are subtracting the same amount from both sides. So
Basically, like crossing it.
yeah. So I think the important thing to remember is that you may be thinking of it as just moving the variable, but what you need to think about is doing the same thing to both sides so that the equation stays an equation and it stays equal.
Well, I remember that when I move the variable, if it's positive, I change it to negative. If it's negative, I change it to positive.
Yeah, but so in this case, if I had a negative 2x plus 3, I would be adding 2x to both sides, correct? To get rid of the negative 2x because you want to get 0
I make
x's
it
on the
like
left
0.
side. So then,
Like 0 plus 3. 3 equals like 8x minus 2 or something like that.
I just know how to
Right.
I just know how to simplify.
okay, let's move on. I'm gonna give you guys these 4 practice problems and I'm gonna give you like 4 minutes to do them and then we'll go over the answers, okay?
Do we put them in? Do we have? Can we? Do we have to put it in the chat like roughly?
No, we're gonna go over them soon, so
Okay.
I don't need you to put them in the chat.
At the second question, what is the first stuff?
6r plus 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you have a question, Kiana? Okay.
Whoops.
No, you're good.
Sometimes I forget to put down my hand too, so.
Yeah, no worries, it happens. Yes, what I forgot to mention this, one of them is a little bit harder in math, so feel free to use a calculator. You guys are doing very well with this. I'm gonna give you guys 1 more minute, but let me know if you need more time.
Do we have a Kahoot today?
No, we don't have a Kahoot today.
Do we have a Kahoot next week?
Maybe. I'm planning on it, but make sure that you guys do your work today And then I think that we will have a Kahoot next week. Okay, we are going to go through the answers just because we kind of have a lot planned today and not that much time. So does anybody want to explain how they did the first one?
You first add, you have to first add, you want to first like get the A's away from each other. So you would add 7A to get away from 20. Can I annotate?
Yes, go ahead. Let me zoom out so you have a little bit more space. Okay,
So you
go
would
ahead.
move the 7A here and you would add. So it'd be 13A. And then since we also want to add 6. So this is 6 is now 0 and it's gone. Same thing we did with 7A. So we have equals 26. Then A equals 2.
Yep, correct. Good job. Okay, anybody want to explain how they did the second one? Okay, I can just go through it really quick. So the first thing that you want to do is subtract 6r from both sides. And then you end up with 7 equals 13 plus r. And then you want to get the variable by itself on the right side. So you subtract 7 from both sides, and then you end up getting a negative number. Negative 6 equals r. But most of you already got that, so good job. The third one, does anybody want to explain really quick? Okay, make sure you guys are paying attention to what I'm teaching you guys and not just chatting in the chat. Okay, I'll go through this really quick. So the first thing you're going to do is expand this side, minus 14n plus 14. And right here, you still have 4n minus 40. So you're going to add 14n to both sides. And then you get 18n minus 40 equals 14. Then I'm going to go up here for more room. And then you add 40, my bad. Add 40 to both sides. So you have 18n equals 54. Then this math might have been a bit difficult, but divide both sides by 54, or by 18, sorry.
I think you forgot a negative.
18 is 3. What?
You forgot a negative.
I forgot a negative. Oh, sorry. I don't think there should be a negative here. Yeah, I don't, okay. Okay, last one. 7y minus 3 equals 3 plus 6y. Does anybody want to explain this one?
Well, I do want to simplify this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Probably going to be a different method though, since I am
Okay, I'm gonna go through this really quick. So subtract 6y from both sides. And then you end up with y minus 3 equals 3. And then you need to add 3 to both sides. And you get y equals 6. Okay. Now we're going to go through having variables in the solving linear equations when you have the variable in the denominator. Okay. So we have 7 minus 10 over x on the left side is equal to 2 plus 15 over x on the right side. The first thing you're going to do in these types of problems is multiply both sides by x, just so you can try and get rid of the x in the denominator, okay? Because when you multiply x, when you apply the distributive property, you get 7 times x, which you see here, and then you get x times 10 over x. And when you get x times 10 over x, that's 10x over x, and then the x's cancel out. So you end up with 10, okay? And you can't forget your negative sign. So on the left-hand side, you have 7x minus 10, and on the right-hand side, you're gonna do the same thing. Multiply your x by the 2 and get 2x. Please be respectful in the chat. You're going to multiply your x by 15 over x as well. So you have 15x over x, which simplifies to 15. Okay, so now you just have a regular two-variable or two-sided variable expression. So first thing you're going to do from here is subtract 2x from both sides to get 5x minus 10 equals 15. And then you're going to add 10 to both sides and get 5x equals 25. Then you're going to divide both sides by 5, and you have x equals 5. Are there any questions about that? Okay, I'm going to give you
Please turn off
guys.
the chat. It's very distracting, and I thought we were here to learn.
Yeah, I'm going to turn that off. Thank you. Try these problems, and we'll go over them.
Can you explain the problem again? I didn't quite understand it.
Yeah, I can go through this one again really quick. So when you have a variable in the denominator, what you want to do is multiply by x so that you get rid of the variable in the denominator. So say your variable was a in the denominator, you would multiply by a, not x. So you would multiply by the variable that you have. The point of that is so that you can get rid of it in the denominator here. So if you look here, we multiply this side by x, right? And you apply distributive property. So you multiply 7 times x, and then you multiply x times 10 over x. When you multiply x times 10 over x, here, let me write this down. X times 10 over x, x, you get 10x over x, right? And then when you simplify that further, you see that your x's can cancel. So you get 10 over 1, which is 10. Does that make sense? And you do the same thing to this side, right? So you have, and then you have your 2 times x, which is right here. And then you have your x times 15 over x. So when you do that, you get x times 15 over x equals 15x. Then when you multiply, 15x over x, right? Because like that. And then when you simplify, your x's cancel, and you get 15 over 1, which equals 15, which is the 15 that you see right here.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Sorry, guys, these are the problems. Okay, about 1 more minute. Okay, we're gonna go through them. Does anybody want to explain and annotate how they did the first one? Okay, I will put up my work for that then. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is multiply both sides by x, as you can see right here, and that cancels out this x in the bottom and this x. So you have 3, and then of course apply distributive property, and you have, okay, if you want to explain, go ahead. I just put my work up. Eric, go ahead. You don't have a mic. Okay. I disabled the chat though, because it was becoming too distracting. So I'm going to, if you want to type out your explanation to the second one, and I will just explain this one. Okay, so multiply out your x. You have 3 plus 2x equals 5, because you multiply the x out here. So you end up with 3 plus 2x equals 5, subtract 3 from both sides, 2x equals 2, divide both sides by 2, and you get x equals 1. Okay. Eric, did you still want to explain the second one? I can just read your explanation. I'm going to give him like 20 seconds. Yeah, okay. So he said multiply everything by y. That's correct. And then when you do that, here is what you get. And then you end up with 6 plus 7y equals 2 minus 3y, correct? And then, yep. And you get 10y equals 4. Yep. He skipped over this step, but yes, you add 3y to both sides. Then you subtract 6 from both sides, like that. And then you get 10y equals negative 4. Yep, correct, he said that. And then he said that you should get y equals negative 2/5, which is correct. Yeah, but I'm not going to turn on the chat to everyone. I'm sorry, becoming too distracting. Okay. Now we're going to do a quick section on equations with parentheses and distributive property. I know that you guys probably know how to do this already, so I'm just gonna have you guys go for it in like a minute. We'll go over the answers. It's just more practice problems. I know you guys might be getting tired of these, but honestly, math is only about practicing, and you're never gonna learn if you don't do practice problems. So give this one a try, and then we can go over it. Sorry, that's a 9. Good. Thank you for asking, guys. So it's -9 minus 9x minus 6. About 1 more minute, guys. Okay, we're gonna go through it. Does anybody with a mic want to explain how they did this one? Okay, then I'm gonna go through really quick. Okay, so the first thing that you are going to do is multiply out your parentheses, and you should get -9 minus 9x plus 6, and then 12x plus 18 on this side. And then you're going to simplify that by combining like terms. So on the right side or left side, you have -9x minus 3, and on the right side, you have 12x plus 18. Okay. After this, you're just going to solve it, add 9x to both sides. You get -3 equals 21x plus 18. Then you subtract 18 from both sides to get only the variable on the right-hand side. So you have -21 minus 21x. Then you divide both sides by 21 to get a singular x, and you should get, actually that should say -1, x equals -1. Any questions? Okay, moving on. Now we're gonna go through, we're gonna talk a little bit about how the number of how many like solutions that an equation can have. Is there a Kahoot today? Please stop asking that. I did already say that we might have one next week, but there is none this week. So after we solve the equation we're given and we find that our solution is like x equals 5, that means that our equation has only one solution. Okay, if we find After solving the equation that we get 3 equals 5, that means that there are no solutions because 3 cannot never equal 5. After we solve our equation, if we get 13 equals 13, that means we have an infinite amount of solutions because 13 will always equal 13. Okay? We're going to go through some equations and then see how they have different number of solutions. So in this first one, if we simplify the left side and we see that it equals the right side, but we can still go through with it, add 7x to both sides, and you get 2 equals 2. That means that there are infinite solutions because 2 is always equal to 2. Okay? In the second one, we simplify the right side and we get negative 7x plus 2. Okay, we can add 7x to both sides and we get that 3 equals 2. Now, 3 is never equal to 2, so it's undefined. There are no solutions. Okay, so for the last ones, we add 7x to both sides first, then we can subtract 2 from both sides, and then if we divide by 9, we get that x equals 1/9. Okay, so that's like the answers we have been getting at this equation has one solution. Okay. I don't know if I want you guys to actually, yeah. I want you guys to figure out how many solutions this equation has. You're going to need to do some derivative property and simplifying. So go for it. I'll give you like 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, does anybody want to explain? Yeah, go ahead, Alexa.
I think there's no solution.
Yeah, that's correct. Can you just quickly tell us how you got that?
Wait, there's one solution or no solution?
There are
No
no
s-
solutions. It's
No
A.
solution. So I simplify the equation. Actually,
If you want to annotate, and go for it.
it's okay. Basically, I just multiply like Actually, maybe you could ask someone else to explain. I don't really know how to do that.
Okay, that's fine. Does anybody want to explain, or else I can just put my work up really quick? Okay, here's what I did. Basically just distribute out the left side. You should get 24x plus 80, and then solve as you would normally. And you should get 80 equals negative 14, which is never true because 80 can never equal 14, which would mean that there are no solutions. So A. Okay. We only have 10 minutes left, but I'm going to try to explain this really fast. Okay, so we're moving on to inequalities now, which are a bit more difficult than equations, but most of the time you're going to do the same operations as you would with equations. Okay, so we have our example, -3 minus 7 is less than p plus 9. We would start this like we would start a regular equation. Okay, subtract p from both sides and you get -4p minus 7 is less than 9. Then after that, you would add 7 to both sides and you get -4p is less than 16. And now the third step is where it's a bit different. You would still divide by -4 as you would regularly, but the thing that you have to remember is to flip the inequality sign. So you have -4p is less than 16. You are going to divide both sides by -4. And when you do that regularly, you would get p. If this was an equation sign, then you would get p equals 4. Correct? But since this is an inequality sign, you need to flip this because you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Any time that you multiply or divide an inequality by a negative number, you need to flip the sign. Sorry, I just realized that this is wrong. It's 4. Okay, you need to flip the sign. Okay, if you don't learn anything about inequalities today, when you divide by negative or multiply by negative, flip your inequality sign. Okay, that's one of the most important things that you need to remember in inequalities. Otherwise, your answer will always be wrong. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys these 3 practice problems, and then we're going to go over them. And I think that will be it for today. I'll just say a couple more things, but I want you guys to try these, and then I'll go over the answers.
Is that supposed to be a greater than or
So the first one is just greater than, the second one is greater than or equal to, and the third one is just supposed to be less than. For this one, I will have you guys put your answers in the chat. So once you are finished, you can do that. Okay, one more minute, guys. Okay, let's go through these. Yeah, the first two were a bit difficult, it seems, for you guys. So I'm gonna go through them. I'm gonna put this up so you guys can see my work. The first thing you're gonna do is subtract 8w from both sides as you normally would. So you have 28w is greater than 14. And then you just divide both sides by 28. And then you get w is greater than half. Some of you got w is greater than 2, which is close, but I think you might have flipped your numbers or something. Okay. Let me get my answers up for this one. So for this one, you should have gotten n is greater than or equal to 9. So I'm going to go through that really quick. After you multiply this out, you get 6n minus 6. So then you're going to subtract 2n from both sides. And then you should get 4n minus 6 is greater than 30. Then after that, you would add 6 to both sides to get 4n is greater than or equal to 36. And then divide by 4 to get n is greater than or equal to 9. Okay. The last one you guys are getting right, which is good. It is a is less than 1. You would just subtract 5a from both sides, so you get 15a plus 3 is less than 18. Then you would subtract 3 from both sides, and you would get 15a is less than 15. Then you would divide both sides by 15, and you get, a is less than 1. Okay, that's all I'm gonna have you guys do for today, but I'm trying to think if I want you guys to finish learning this stuff. How about this? I will post these notes on the Google Classroom and in the Google folder. I want you guys each to open it and try to finish the problems that we have left. It's just this one. And then this one is teaching you guys how to go through this problem. This one is teaching you how to go through this problem. And this one is teaching you how to go through these problems. So you guys only have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 problems, which is not that much. Just try to see how far you guys can get through them. If we have time at the beginning of next class, I'll go through it. Otherwise, right before next week's class, I'll post the answers. I'll post the finished notes for these, and that way you guys can look through it yourself and learn how to do it. But we just don't have any more time today. Other than that, you guys don't have anything. I really want you guys to try these 5 problems. I'll post them right now. And if you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to ask me throughout the week. Email me, Google Classroom, Discord. You guys have a lot of resources, but that is it. Thank you. Dimple, what was your question?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to know if, what are we gonna do next week?
Next week, we're doing different types of linear equations. So like point, slope, form, and standard form, and things like that.
Okay.
Okay, that is all. Thank you guys so much.